Hello everyone and welcome to today's session, and today we'll be discussing the NCERT practice questions for the chapter Human Health and Diseases. This is the disclaimer. So let's understand the objective of today's session. So today we'll be discussing the basic concepts related to the chapter Human Health and Diseases. So these practice questions, they are based on some concepts. We'll discuss these concepts by working through NCERT practice questions. Okay, so in today's session, we're discussing the practice questions related to the chapter Human Health and Diseases. Okay, so let's begin with the first question. The first question is, which of the following is not a characteristic of cancer cells? So you have four options, A, B, C, D. You have to choose the correct answer from these options. Option number 1 is uncontrolled cell division. Option number B is loss of apoptosis. Option number C, high specialization, and option number D is ability to metastasis. Okay, or metastasize. So what will be the correct answer? Okay, so next, answer is option number C, high specialization. This is not a characteristic of cancer cells. Now, cancer cells are not specialized, meaning they do not have a specific function or role in the body like normal cells do. In the healthy body, cells are specialized to perform particular jobs, such as making blood, repairing tissue, or producing hormones. However, cancer cells lose this specialization and become undifferentiated, allowing them to grow and divide uncontrollably. Now, this lack of specialization is one of the key features that makes cancer cells harmful, as they can spread to other parts of the body and disrupt normal body functions. Now, cancer cells are distinct from normal cells in several critical ways that enable their harmful behavior. Cancer cells exhibit uncontrolled division, meaning they proliferate without the usual biological signals and regulate cell growth and division. So the cancer cells, they have mechanism to avoid programmed cell death as well, which is known as apoptosis. Yeah. Now, lastly, cancer cells gain the ability to spread from their original location to other parts of the body, a process known as metastasis. Clear? Now, next question is, the primary cause of tuberculosis is. So again, we have the options. Option number A is bacterium, option number B is virus, option number C is fungus, and option number D is protozoan. So what will be the correct answer? Let's have a look at the answer. Option number A is the correct answer. So tuberculosis, this is caused by a bacteria. Okay. The name of the bacteria is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So tuberculosis is a disease caused by the bacterium Mycobacterium tuberculosis, which mainly attacks the lungs, but can also spread to other parts of the body like kidney or even spine. And this disease, tuberculosis, is spread through the air when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or speaks, and can lead to serious health problems if not treated with proper medicine. Now, next question is, which of the following is a non-communicable disease? Okay, you have four options: malaria, tuberculosis, diabetes, and influenza. So what will be the correct answer here? Let's have a look at the answers. Option number C, diabetes, is the correct answer here. It is a non-communicable disease. So diabetes is a non-communicable disease. Okay, it doesn't spread from one person to another person. And in diabetes, you can see here, It is a non-communicable disease that affects how the body processes the blood sugar, leading to high levels in the blood. So there is high level of sugar in the blood, glucose in the blood. Now it occurs when the body either doesn't produce enough insulin or cannot use insulin properly. And this disease, diabetes, this is not spread from one person to another person. Okay, so it is a non-communicable disease. Now next question, the organism Plasmodium responsible for which disease? So you have these options. Option number is dengue, option number is malaria, option number C is cholera, and option number D is hepatitis. So what will be the correct answer? Option number B, malaria, is the correct answer. So Plasmodium, this is a protozoan. It is a single cell parasite that causes malaria, which is a very serious disease in humans. And the vector for this disease is female Anopheles mosquito, which is infected by this pathogen Plasmodium. Okay. Now, how this disease spreads? So whenever the infected female Anopheles mosquito, this will bite a person. Okay, then this mosquito will inject the parasite into the bloodstream of that person. Now, the life cycle of Plasmodium is quite complex, and it involves two hosts. Okay, one is the human host, another one is the mosquito host. Okay, which is female Anopheles mosquito, and female Anopheles mosquito, this is also a vector for the transmission of this disease from one person to another person. Okay, this is clear. Now, the Plasmodium has various forms. So the infectious form is known as sporozoites. The sporozoite enter into the humans. Okay, it enter into the host, which is human host. Okay, whenever the female Anopheles mosquito bite that person. Now the sporozoite, they will multiply in the liver cells then by sexual reproduction, and they will produce merozoites. Now these merozoites will further attack RBCs. Okay, and then within the RBCs, gametocytes are produced, and when the RBCs burst, then the hemozoin is also released. This hemozoin is the cause of the chill and the fevers during the malaria. And then these gametocytes, you can say, enter into the female Anopheles mosquito. How they enter into the female Anopheles mosquito? When this mosquito bites the infected person, then these gametocytes are transferred into the female Anopheles mosquito along with the blood. These gametocytes then, you can say, enter into the gut of the mosquito. Fertilization takes place in the gut, and then sporozoites are formed, and these sporozoites are stored in the salivary gland of the mosquito. Okay. Then the next cycle will start. Now, next question: which component of the immune system is primarily responsible for producing antibodies? Okay. Now, options are T cells, B cells, macrophages, and neutrophils. Okay, so they're asking which kind of cells produce antibodies. So antibody, they are produced against an antigen. Clear? So which of the cells produce antibodies? Let's have a look at the answer. See, option number B, B cells, is the correct answer. Now, B cells are a type of white blood cells that help fight infections by producing antibodies. Now, these antibodies are special proteins that can recognize and bind to specific antigens, which are parts of harmful pathogens like bacteria or viruses. When an antibody binds to its antigen, it either neutralizes the pathogen directly, stopping it from causing damage, or marks the pathogen so that other immune cells can destroy it. Okay. Now, this process is a key part of the body's adaptive immune response, helping to protect us from the diseases. Okay, so B cells, they produce antibodies. Antibodies, they are present in the plasma, which is one of the component of the blood. The antibodies can be of various types: IgA, IgG, IgE. Okay, so there are 5 kind of antibodies. Okay, antibodies are also known as immunoglobulins. Okay, because they are proteins. Now, next question is, which of the following is a viral disease? It is a very straightforward question. Okay, they're just asking which of the disease is caused by a virus. So options are tuberculosis. Is it caused by a virus or not? Then option number B is malaria. Option number C is AIDS. And option number D is ringworm. So what will be the correct answer here? Let's have a look at the answer. Option number C, AIDS, is the correct answer. Okay, this is caused by a retrovirus. Retrovirus is a virus which has RNA as the genetic material. Okay, AIDS is, what is the full form of it? Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So AIDS is a serious illness caused by HIV, which is a retrovirus. HIV is human immunodeficiency virus. Now, this virus weakens the body immune system, making it hard for the body to fight off infection and diseases. Now, this virus targets and destroys a type of white blood cells called CD4 cells, which are crucial for the immune system to work properly. Now, as the virus progresses, the immune system becomes too weak, leading to AIDS, which can be life-threatening if not treated. The next question is, which of the following is responsible for the characteristic symptoms of allergic reaction? Now, options are histamine, serotonin, dopamine, and acetylcholine. So what will be the correct answer? Next question is, so the answer is option number A, histamine. Okay, so answer to this question is histamine. And during an allergic reaction, the mast cells release a chemical called histamine, which causes symptoms like itching, swelling, and redness by increasing blood flow and making blood vessels more leaky. So this happens during the allergic reaction. Okay, so this allergy is due to the hypersensitive response of the immune system. Okay, here histamine is released, which is a chemical. Okay, and then if you want to treat these allergies, you have to take antihistamines. The next question is, which of the following disease is caused by a deficiency of vitamin C? So the options are night blindness, rickets, scurvy, and beriberi. What will be the correct answer? Okay, so this question is related to the deficiency of vitamin. Let's have a look at the answer. Option number C, scurvy, is the correct answer. Now, scurvy is a disease caused by lack of vitamin C in the body, which is essential for making strong blood vessels and connective tissues. When the body doesn't get enough vitamin C, it leads to symptoms like bleeding gums, joint pain, and weak bones, as the tissues become fragile and unable to repair properly. Now, this condition was common in sailors who didn't have access to fresh fruits and vegetables which are rich in vitamin C. So vitamin C deficiency can lead to scurvy. The next question is, which of the following types of immunity is achieved by vaccination? Okay, so in vaccination, what is done? Either the attenuated pathogen, okay, which means the weakened pathogen is introduced into the host body, or the antigenic polypeptides, they are, you can say, made in E. coli or yeast. Yeah, and these antigenic polypeptides are used to make the vaccines. So basically, these antigenic polypeptides are regions of the pathogen against which immune response is generated. Okay, so nowadays, what they are doing, earlier they used to introduce weakened pathogen in the host body to activate an immune system. But now, what is being done? The antigenic polypeptides of these pathogens, they are being made in the E. coli or yeast. So in this way, we can produce antigenic polypeptides on large scale. And then we can produce vaccinations on large scale. Okay, this is clear. So we have the options here. First one is innate immunity. Second one is passive immunity. Third one is artificial active immunity. And fourth one is natural active immunity. So what will be the correct answer? The option number C is the correct answer here. Artificial active immunity. Okay, this is the correct answer here. Now, vaccination works by introducing a harmless part of the pathogen, okay, which are known as antigenic polypeptides. Okay, these are introduced, okay, as an antigen into the host. Now, this antigen triggers the immune system of the host to produce the memory cells. Okay, so first of all, the memory cells are being produced like B cells and T cells. Now, these memory cells remember how to fight that specific pathogen. Now, if there is a subsequent attack with the same pathogen, or when the same pathogen enters the body, then what happens? These memory cells can quickly recognize and destroy this pathogen. So this is the secondary response. The secondary response is the heightened response. Okay, and this overwhelms the pathogen. So this process creates artificial active immunity. So this is kind of active immunity only, but this is artificial because we are deliberately introducing the antigens of the pathogen, such as viruses or bacteria. Okay, so here the body is building its own defense without having to suffer from the actual disease. Okay, so we are building the body's defense, okay, beforehand, so that whenever the pathogen attacks the body, our body is ready to fight that pathogen. Okay. So use of these vaccinations has reduced death rate also. Yeah, so there are a lot of vaccines available now for hepatitis B, for polio, okay, for cholera. The next question is, which of the following is not a vector-borne disease? So you have the four options: dengue, typhoid, Lyme disease, and yellow fever. What is the correct answer? Okay, so what are vectors? Vectors are like mosquitoes and flies, which transmit the pathogen from one person to another person. So they transmit the disease from one person to another person. Okay, so here they are asking which of the following is not a vector-borne disease. So let's have a look at the answer. Okay, so option number B, typhoid is the correct answer. Now, typhoid is a waterborne disease caused by the bacteria Salmonella typhi, which spreads through contaminated food and water. Okay. And this typhoid doesn't spread through the insects like mosquitoes or ticks. In the rest of the disease, they are spread by vectors. These vectors can be flies or mosquitoes. Typhoid, this is caused by a bacteria, Salmonella typhi, which infects the small intestine. So the person will feel constipation. Okay, there will be abdominal pain as well. There will be loss of appetite as well. And this can be fatal if not treated. Okay, clear? So for the control of vector-borne disease, you have to destroy the breeding place of these vectors. Now, next question is, what is the main target of the human immunodeficiency virus in the human body? So in this question, they are asking what is the main target of HIV, okay, which is a retrovirus, which cause a very serious disease called AIDS. Okay, there is no cure for AIDS. Only the symptoms can be managed by retroviral, you can say, medicines. Okay. Now options are red blood cells, neurons, CD4, T cells, and platelets. So what will be the correct answer here? Okay, let's have a look at the answer. Option number C, CD4 plus T cells. Okay. So let's have a look at the explanation. Now HIV mainly attacks CD4 plus T cells. Okay. Or you can also say they attack the T helper cells. They also attack the macrophages. So initially they attack macrophages, then they attack these CD4 plus T cells as well. Okay. Now slowly what happens, the number of these macrophages and these T cells keep on decreasing. As their number decrease, okay, the person becomes immunocompromised. Okay. Now these T cells, they are very important cells in the immune system that help fight infections. Now when HIV destroys these cells, the body's ability to defend itself against diseases weakens, leading to a compromised immune system. Okay. So whenever the HIV virus enters the body, it will first infect macrophages. It will multiply in macrophages and then it will multiply in the CD4 T cells. Okay. And when these cells, they burst, then these viruses are released and they infect the other T cells. Okay. So the number of these T cells keep on decreasing and the person becomes immunocompromised. Next question is, which of the following is not a symptom of bacterial infection? So what are the options? Fever, rash, coughing, and hallucinations. So what will be the correct answer here? Okay, so bacterial infections are like typhoid, this is caused by Salmonella typhi, then cholera, which is caused by Vibrio cholerae. Okay, and there are many more diseases caused by bacteria. Okay, so which of the following is not a symptom of bacterial infection? Let's have a look at the answer. Option number D, hallucination, is the correct answer. Now, hallucinations, which are false perceptions like seeing or hearing things that are not there. Okay, this is not a symptom of bacterial infection. Now, bacterial infections typically cause symptoms like fever, cough, sore throat, or skin infections, but they do not typically lead to hallucinations. Now, hallucinations are more commonly associated with mental health issues, neurological disorders, or the effect of certain drugs, but not bacterial infections. Now, the fever, rash, and coughing are the typical symptoms, okay, of the bacterial infection. Okay, so these are basically physical reactions when body undergoes fighting an infection. Okay, these are the part of body's natural defense mechanism against illness. And these symptoms indicate that the immune system is actively responding to the presence of a pathogen. So if you are getting a fever, okay, all this coughing or rash on the skin, these are basically, these symptoms appear, okay, whenever the body is fighting against the pathogens, okay, body is fighting against the infections. And whenever these symptoms appear, this indicates that your immune system is active. It is responding to the foreign antigen, okay, responding to the pathogen. The next question is, which of the following diseases is transmitted by the Aedes mosquito? So you have the options here: malaria, Lyme disease, Japanese encephalitis, and dengue. What will be the correct answer? Let's have a look at the answer. Okay, correct answer is option number C, dengue. This is the correct answer. Now, dengue fever, it is a viral disease spread by the Aedes mosquito. So Aedes mosquito, this is the vector for this disease. Now, there are two species of this mosquito, Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus. Now, these mosquitoes bite humans during the day and transmit the viruses when they bite, spreading the disease from one person to another person. Now, the virus causes symptoms like high fever, severe headache, and body ache, and in some cases, it can lead to serious complications as well. Now, preventing mosquito breeding and taking protective measures can help reduce the spread of dengue. Okay. Let's talk about the next question. Which of the following is not a primary lymphoid organ? So you have the options bone marrow, thymus, spleen, and none of the above. So what will be the correct answer here? Okay, option number C, spleen is the correct answer. It is not a primary lymphoid organ. Primary lymphoid organ are bone marrow and thymus. Now the primary lymphoid organs, which are bone marrow and thymus, okay, they are the site where lymphocytes, which are a type of blood cells, are made and fully developed. In the bone marrow, all type of lymphocytes like B cells are produced, while the thymus is specifically, okay, while in thymus what happens? There is a maturation of the T cells. Now these organs play a key role in immune system by training these cells to recognize and fight the pathogen. Okay. Now, spleen is a secondary lymphoid organ that helps filter blood by removing old red blood cells and harmful pathogens as well. Okay, and it also plays a key role in immune responses by producing white blood cells and antibodies to fight infections. So, spleen is basically known as the graveyard of RBCs. RBCs have a lifespan of 120 days. Okay, after 120 days, RBCs will enter spleen and then they will die. Okay. So that's why spleen is known as graveyard of the RBCs. The next question is, what is the role of interferons in the immune system? What are the options? Option number A, stimulate antibody production. Option number B, activate B cells. Option number C, inhibit viral replication. And option number D is enhance allergic response. So what will be the correct answer here? Let's have a look at the answer. Now, the role of interferons in immune system is to inhibit the viral replication. So basically interferons, they come under the cytokine barriers. Okay, so these are basically chemicals, these are proteins made up by the body cells when they detect harmful viruses. Okay, so these interferons, they are produced, okay, in response to viral infection, and they protect the other cells from this viral infection. Okay, so these proteins, which are interferons, help stop the virus from spreading by making it harder for the virus to replicate inside these cells. They also signal nearby cells to strengthen their defenses and alert the immune system to fight off the infection, thus playing a key role in protecting our body from viral attacks. Next question is, which of the following is a treatment strategy for cancer involving the use of drugs? Okay, so there are a lot of, you can say, treatment for cancer. So the person can go for radiotherapy, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, as well as surgery. Okay, so these are the 4 treatment strategies for treating cancer, and the doctors usually, they use surgery as well. They can use chemotherapy and radiation therapy as well for treating cancer. So they use combination of all of these therapies. Okay. Okay. Now these are the 4 options: radiation therapy, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, surgery. So what will be the correct answer? Okay, option number B, chemotherapy, is the correct answer. Now, chemotherapy uses special medicines to target and kill the cancer cells that divide quickly, which are commonly found in the cancerous tissues. Now, these drugs work throughout the body, helping to shrink tumors and stop the spread of cancer. However, because they also affect rapidly dividing healthy cells, chemotherapy can cause side effects like hair loss and fatigue. Now, this treatment is often used alongside other methods like surgery or radiation to effectively manage cancer. Okay, so doctors use the combination of these therapies for the treatment of the cancer or for the effective management of the cancer. Okay. Let's have a look at the next question now. Which of the following disease is caused by a protozoan? Okay, again, a straightforward question. What are the options? The options are AIDS, malaria, tuberculosis, and influenza. What will be the correct answer? Let's have a look at the answer. See, option number B, malaria, is the correct answer. So malaria is caused by a protozoan called Plasmodium. Okay, so malaria is a disease caused by a tiny parasite called Plasmodium. This is the protozoan actually. Clear? Now, the vector for this disease is female Anopheles mosquito. Now, this, you can say, pathogen is transmitted to the healthy person by the bite of the female Anopheles mosquito. Okay, so this infected female Anopheles mosquito, this transmit the sporozoites into the healthy person. Okay, these sporozoites are the infectious form of this Plasmodium. Okay, clear? And then you can see this Plasmodium has a complex life cycle. It involves 2 hosts. What are the 2 hosts? Human host and mosquito host. And this female Anopheles mosquito, this is also a vector for this disease. It is a host also, and it is a vector as well. Okay. Now the life cycle of this, you can say, protozoan, this pathogen, is very important. Clear? So it has infectious stage known as sporozoite. Okay, then it has sexual stage also known as gametocytes. Okay, now these sporozoites, you should remember, these are stored in the salivary glands of the female Anopheles mosquito. Whenever this mosquito bites a person, healthy person, this will transmit the sporozoites into that healthy person. The sporozoite, they will then, you can say, target the liver cells. Okay, they will divide in the liver cells by sexual reproduction, and they will form merozoites. Then these merozoites, they infect the RBCs. Okay. Within the RBCs, merozoite develop into gametocyte, which is the sexual stage. And when the RBCs burst, hemozoin is released. So basically, hemozoin is produced by the digestion of the hemoglobin, and this digestion is done by this plasmodium. Okay, hemozoin is the cause of the chill and the fever during the malaria, which appears every 3 to 4 days. Okay, now these gametocyte, they will enter into the female Anopheles mosquito whenever this mosquito bites that infected person. So along with the blood, gametocytes also get transferred into the female Anopheles mosquito. These gametocytes, they will then migrate to gut. In the gut of the mosquito, fertilization will occur. After fertilization, sporozoites are produced, and the sporozoites, they migrate to salivary gland. So they are stored in the salivary gland. And again, when this infected female Anopheles mosquito, this will bite the healthy person. This will transmit the sporozoite into that healthy person. So this is how the plasmodium is being, you can say, plasmodium is completing its life cycle, and it is being transferred from one host to another host. Okay, it is being transferred from one person to another person also by the female Anopheles mosquito. Okay. Now here you can see this interaction is not parasitic, because this mosquito, this bites the person. Okay, it sucks the blood, and this interaction is for very small duration. And basically, this female Anopheles mosquito, this is using the proteins in the blood to make the eggs. It is using the proteins in the blood for the development of the eggs. And this interaction is not parasitic, because it is not fully dependent on the host. It is just, this interaction is just for a very small duration. Okay, that's why it is not called as parasitic interaction as well. Okay, in a parasitic infection or interaction, the parasite is totally dependent on the host, and the host is negatively affected. Parasite is positively affected. Okay, this is clear. This was the life cycle of the plasmodium, which is a protozoan, and it causes a disease called as malaria, which is a very serious disease. Now, for the control of malaria, the spread of these vectors, okay, these vectors should be controlled. And you can destroy the breeding place of these vectors. You can avoid stagnant water. You can spray the chemicals, okay, that kills the larva. You can see these mosquitoes. Okay, this is clear. You can keep the place clean and hygienic. Okay, so with this, we end this session. I hope this session was quite knowledgeable for you, and all your concepts are clear. Now we will meet you in the next session. Thank you very much for listening.